Good evening, guys. Welcome to the lightning talk session. Our first speaker is going to be Atle. We look forward to hearing from him. Thanks.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me as well. It's great to be here and see all the engaged colleagues talking about mobile. My name is Atle Knudtzon, and I work as a development manager in Visma. And I'm here today to give you a 10-minute glimpse into how we approach mobile development in Visma. Visma, for those of you who don't know, is one of the largest and fastest growing software development companies in the Nordics. So what we do affects most of the employees, both public and private, throughout the Nordic region. But we have also have a lot of legacy systems. We have created payroll systems and financial systems the last 20 and 30 years. So when we decided to go mobile for 6-7 years ago, we did this like this. And as you can see, we did not get the traction and the market success we wanted to do. Needless to say, you cannot just take a desktop application and put it into a mobile context. And I know I'm knocking down open doors here, but basically, you cannot, and I'm not just talking about the front-end part. The fundamental idea that you can take a desktop application and port it to a mobile context is just wrong. You can't. And what we have learned in Visma is to take one step back and look at the whole process of doing mobile development, to look at the workflow before you start doing the mobile application. Or to paraphrase Leonard Cohen, first we take the workflow, and then we make the tools. And the tools might be mobile front-end, it might be smart integrations, it might be machine learning, it might be many, many things in total creating the mobile experience we're looking for. But understanding the workflow first is essential. So I'll touch upon the high-level design process, which we have, of course, as a large enterprise. And then I'll show you some exciting screenshots of work currently in progress. The first thing we do whenever we start a new mobile project is to try to understand the current workflow. Who is the users, and what are their tasks? What are they trying to achieve? Also, what is the organizational goal for the role in itself? And by understanding their problems and their tasks, we are able to come up with a better solution, a better way of working in total. We call it an optimized workflow. And here we create some minimum viable products with sketches and ideas, which we test and reiterate using the running lean methodology. And when we think we have a good idea about what's going on, then we start making the actual applications. When the applications has been released and we've eaten all the cakes that we usually do, we monitor and verify that we actually are solving the problem at hand. And if we're not, we need to do the necessary adjustments. So how does this look in practice? Because this is a 4-step model, very easy to implement. And of course, we have a lot of sub-processes and nitty-gritty details, but I'm not touching upon that. Instead, I would like to show you how the results of this is in Visma. So one of the workflows which is quite common, and many of you have traveled to get here as well, so you're probably familiar with it, is the expense workflow. You need to gather all the receipts after you're traveling, maybe during travel as well, and either scan them by an old-school scanner or using your mobile app to do so. Then you have to log in to manually enter all the mandatory data in a travel expense system. Then you have to forward that to your manager so he can approve and hopefully not reject all the expense claims from this conference. Before the payroll admin will go into the salary run and add all those approved claims. And after that is done, you'll get a PDF with all the expense claims which was approved and added to your salary run. And if you or your manager is missing the deadline here, you'll have to wait another month before you get the money back. And obviously, you probably felt this on yourself as well. This takes too much time. You don't want to be doing this, and your organization or employer don't want you to do this either. So the optimal workflow here is to save time. And we try to do this now. We've done some new mobile apps, which one is made for gathering and sending all the expense claims directly to the approver. Then we have a mobile app for the approver to do this on the go. And of course, we try to automate the rest of it. So, some screenshots. You're taking the airport train to Gardermoen, and you use your credit card. Just minutes later, you will get the credit card transaction into your mobile application, including the electronic receipt. That means the claim has already been pre-filled, and you can send it directly for approval if you don't want to hold for more transactions. Your approver, who's also out traveling, will be able to approve or reject on the go. And the rest of the process is automatic. So we now changed a complete workflow to be a mobile-only workflow. Another scenario is sick registration. Whenever you go home from work, it's very common to forget to do all the proper registration, to give all the proper notifications. So we see people leaving work, and then after they come home, they then have to add all the necessary data, maybe using VPN to get to the internet to add all the data. Then they have to call their manager to state the exact same thing they just entered. When that is done, or if you stay sick a couple of days, you need to go to the doctor to get legal confirmation that you're sick. And after all of this, your payroll admin still have to do manual inputs for the sick leave money calculation, which is quite important in salary run. And of course, I think we all can agree that a sick employee should not be doing this. A sick employee should be focusing on getting more healthy. So an optimal workflow here is to remove a lot of the hassle involved and make it into a mobile workflow instead. So here we take the input, put it into a mobile application, and we automate all the notification part. So that means the entire input flow and workflow is mobile only. So in this mobile application, you are able to register sick within 5 seconds. And when sending this, you are also automatically notifying your manager, your colleagues, declining all the meetings you should have been participating in, and automatically calculating the right sick money. The day after, it's the other way around. Now the mobile asks, how are you? Are you still feeling sick? And all you have to do is say yes or no, and the rest will be taken care of by the system. We turn the workflow on its head. All notifications, all calculation is done automatically. Last scenario, imagine you are a small startup company, or a small company in general. Let's say you're a plumber. Of course, you're living off by doing plumbing services, but you also need to get the money, which is a critical part of being a plumber. And to do this today, the invoice flow is as follows. You need to gather the purchase order for your services. Then you need to map that with the shipment of your service when you can do the actual plumbing. And after you've done the plumbing, you need to create and send out an invoice. After you've done that, you need to be able to take the money and verify that you are receiving it, and also verifying that it's according to the PO in the first place. For one-man company, this takes a lot of time. So it limits the growth potential for him doing more plumbing services. It also involves a lot of different systems in general. So we had the ambitious goal of taking all of these processes into one mobile app. And these are people who might not be so technically savvy. They might not be using apps so much. So it's a hard challenge and an ambitious one. But I'll show you the first live screenshots of a new financial system built from an A team, which are also part of this presentation today, which is taking machine learning to a whole new level. We'll now see the first version of this, currently in progress. This is a financial system that will help you create invoices. And it's like talking to a friend, really. It asks you questions, which is quite easy to answer, regardless of your technical savviness. And just by answering the questions, which is automatically being populated by the machine learning, the invoice is created and sent out. We changed the entire workflow for plumber services. So our key takeaways from this presentation, and also our own learnings, given from the first slide I showed to the last, is that you really need to think holistically. Mobile is part of a bigger whole. You need to solve the other parts as well. Remember to understand your users, understand what they are trying to achieve, and what the organization is trying to achieve. And the best way to do this, having structured interviews with them, is in our experience. And last but not least, don't forget that everything starts with the workflow. Thank you very much.